Hey everybody. Um, if you go to my church, you probably know me or whatever. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I have PTSD or something. To put it plainly, you know, nobody believes this ever when I say this, but I'm gonna just cut straight to the story. So I've been at a spiritual low lately, and when you're depressed, you become lazy and irresponsible, and you also say and do things you don't want to do deep down, and that's called the battle. When your instinct and your logic are constantly battling, and when you have contradicting, decision making methods, or you have contradicting ideas, like do I want to do this or do I want to do that? I have a lot of that lately. And then secondly, I want to point out, I've been corrected at my church, and I've been very inappropriate, things like that, in my opinion. And it's due to the wisdom of other people that I'm still at the church. And I just want to go into the history. So, high school, that's when I read about Deuteronomy. This is when I just started reading about the Bible, and caring about what it says. I was in such a depression that I was just looking for an answer of why I should exist. And so this is a common problem in America. So it's nothing that is unique to me. It's just that I was one of those people, and the Bible is the way that I found out of it. And so it took years. It took at least 3 or 4 years to truly understand what a purpose of a human being is by reading that Bible, because the Bible is such a large book, and to receive all that understanding, you have to stay hooked for a minute in order to understand what the book is about. But the summary of the book is this: if you love God and keep His commandments, then you're going to be able to live forever in paradise and not have to worry about dying, suffering in any kind of way. So that is the purpose of a human being, to live immaculately. In my opinion, that's what I got from the book: to live a life free of burdens. And I see now in this day and age, who doesn't want to be rich and live with no problems, right? So I don't think it's necessarily bad to feel that way, right? They call it selfishness, but the Bible is promising us eternal life with no death, no sickness, and no malice, no violence, no murder or anything. So it's technically the same thing that the average person wants. It's just that the Bible has its own way of telling you how to do it, and it deviates from a lot of what we suggest out here in public. What the average person is suggested to do, and it's you truly have to be humble out here. It feels kind of lonely being a loner, as far as my opinion, and I'm also kind of unique in the fact that I grew up without my siblings, and it is brain damaging. And then when I was around them, we didn't get along because we're all different energies. They had different dads. One dad died. One dad didn't care. The other dad didn't care. One ended up in prison. Only dad that cared was mine. He refused to take care of my siblings. So now 20 years later, 'cause I'm 20, about to be 21. 20 years later, we're out here in a safe neighborhood, but we're struggling financially, and there are other problems that go with that, right? It's harder to live in safe neighborhoods, and not be homeless. And so you have to discipline yourself. You can't eat whenever you want. You have to ration food. You have to save gas. You can't drive the car sometimes. I remember when my car broke down, and we had 6 vehicles. Still got a lot of those, and both our cars broke down. I had to ride my bike 20 minutes to my job every day and back, full speed, and it made me very, very strong. But now look at me, I'm just lazy and feeling off, feeling weak. I mean, I had a whole agenda built. I had a whole morning agenda built. I would wake up at 6:30, sometimes earlier. I would meditate, then I would go on a 5 mile run in the forest preserve. Maybe I would ride a bike too when I'm done. Throw the bike in the trunk or something. Come back, write a poem. I'm a writer, right? Write a poem or two, put a song together or two, right? I started getting into script writing and things like that because I was tired of not voicing my opinion. People don't agree with your opinion, so you have to write it down and put it in a song. So I had that too. That was God blessing me, but I had to be in isolation, away from people for a time. And what was going on was my spirituality was virtually zero, right? So God was putting things in my face to do, like read books, all this. I had to build that myself. I built myself from scratch and from the ground up. And so I was sitting there in isolation at my mom's apartment. They live separate, right? They broke up years ago. There's nothing but a couch and a table. I'm sitting there, I realized that is prison, because prison is nothing but a chair and some white walls. You might get lucky and get a TV, which I had that, but I didn't watch TV because I don't want to be brainwashed, right? And then imagine someone coming into the house and they have a TV blasting, and it's a gigantic flat screen, and you're used to quietness by this time because you've been sitting alone at a chair for 6 hours straight, right, on a PC or on your phone or something, just trying to figure out life and understand things. And you're thinking about, I can't go outside and talk to nobody because they're gonna think I'm up to something. They're like, why you out here, little kid? If they do answer me, they're not gonna give me the answer I want, or the answer that I need, better yet, right? Not that I will understand what they said anyway. So TV's blasting. She plays R&B music, and what am I realizing? R&B music 20 years later, she's playing the same old songs from 20 years ago because she hasn't gotten over her relationship issues. And this is when I realized the problems in life, like the problems you have in life, stem from childhood, most of them. And it's not because you are immature, it's because they are actually relevant and they are a part of your character now. They are an actual problem that exists years later. And so I'm sitting here 6 years later, right? I was 14 when I started getting into the truth. I found out about the Israel of God through my brother, and I've just been watching y'all, watching that church, and I just started going there barely 2 years ago, but I've been watching them for 6 years. Finally there. And then here I go, forgetting everything, not appreciating. I don't know what I did wrong, but when laziness somehow takes away your spirituality. And so when I was reading this book, I was trying to go outside and experiment, right? So I would put myself in strange conversations. I would address topics on the internet that were unorthodox, where I would go on here, go on websites and see what people are saying about, Egypt, the ancient cultures out there, Babylon, compared to now. Then I started doing research on governments. Why are governments the way they are? Why is the world the way it is? Right? And that was God blessing me. Then I considered that prayer increases the ability to learn, because the angels rejoice and they are the ones that unlock your third eye. And so when you pray earnestly to God, they give you more leg room to learn. And so now I'm a straight up exquisite writer. I can write anything. I'm a ghostwriter. I can be a ghostwriter. I can write you a song in a matter of seconds. I can write you a poem in a matter of minutes. I can write you a whole script in a matter of a few days. I got my 9-to-5 skills. I'm still building, but I have to say I truly rebuilt myself from the ground up, but it's not really working no more, right? Because times move on, times change, and I haven't been able to keep my spirituality up, right? And spirituality is consideration of things not seen. And so I stopped caring so much about what the angels thought, what God thought about my actions. I stopped really caring about the future for a minute, and God put me back on track with the correction at my church. So they corrected my behavior, and I'm back on track now. And I feel so stupid, and I felt really blind. And I can see that I don't really notice certain details I used to. There are certain things that I don't really, that I'm just starting to really notice again. So, just pray for me and everything as I get back up on my feet, and I'm going to if you give me a chance and watch me closely, I will be very, very impressive. I'm not bragging. And I know how to turn the whole morale of the place up. And I know how to make everything better. I know it sounds confusing right now. I can make everything better. And you will be a very happy person being around me. You just got to give me a chance to get back on my feet. I'm going to explain this in other videos. And you just need to know that, you know, I've spoken to the angels. I'm not capping right now. And they have eliminated all problems from my life. Like, all issues. And they have changed the course of people's lives through my language. I just want to do that again, you know. Because right now I feel like I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. But that's all I have to say. You have a good day.